love, fear, failure, success, and finally, survival. I've been through them all and came out stronger and healthier. Yeah, I went to a dark place, but talking about it pulled me out. My name is Sandy Cross, and this is Cross Conversations.
Hello, hello, hello. We are back again for another conversation with Cross Convos. Sandy, what's going on?
Nothing.
She's all happy because she's not going to have to pay me any money because we have, who's here today? Who's with us? Joy.
Ta-da!
I love her. You don't make money when she's on because I do try to behave myself.
I don't make any money.
And you do very well. The Lord is pleased.
Well, Joy, I don't know. So this, I'm going to be very picky when she asks you to come on again. I need at least several episodes in between, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to raise it now to $40 a curse word now since you're not doing it that often.
That's what you have to do.
I think that's fair, right? Supply versus demand.
Progress.
The price goes up when the supply goes down.
That's right.
Is that what we're doing?
Very
Yes.
Is that what we're doing?
Shantaeonomics.
You have the signals and Shantae. I'm gonna write that down.
very
Shantae.
smart. Very
All right.
smart.
Shantaenomics. Let me write that
Shantaeonomics.
down.
There you go, Shantaeonomics. So I know. So look, guess what I did? I did my homework. I reviewed the notes
Yay!
of what you wanted to talk about. And today, with our special guest, Joy, we're talking about friendship breakups and how they may be harder than breaking up with your significant other. I would say boyfriend, girlfriend, but you never know. So it's like significant other breakups. I'm trying to be inclusive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
That's
friendship
it.
breakups are the worst. When you break up with a guy or partner, whatever, yeah, it's you're kind of expected to go through a little bit of withdrawal, sadness, cry, try to get back together, blah, blah, blah. But when you and your friend break up, that's a whole different level because it's like, who am I going to run to cry, talk to, do this, do that? So friendship breakups are hard, especially if it's somebody you've been around all your life or for a long time. It tends to be rough. And I've been through a couple of them in the last year. I'm telling you, I went through withdrawals, depression, everything, because it's just sad.
Oh,
It was sad.
sorry.
The divorce was sad too, but I had so many of y'all to talk to during that, right? Including the few that I broke up with, but it's difficult. It's difficult because I love my friends, and I can't imagine, like the friends that I have now. It's years and years and years. I can't imagine certain people in my life. Also, when it goes back to reason, season, and lifetime, that it's which was the episode we had earlier, but it's hard. It's hard. How do you guys handle like these friendship breakups? Have you had any?
I'll let Joy go first.
Wow. Yeah, I have. I have had a few. But for me, I think the first one or two, I realized the correction that needed to be done. So my friendships are different now. I do not, emotionally, I do different with friendships as far as the attachment. I love my friends, but I'm not attached to my friendships emotionally in a way where if we do grow apart, because I just feel like sometimes you grow with your friends, sometimes you grow apart. It depends on where everyone is going.
Yes.
So the only relationship that personally I invest all in is marriage and my children. Everyone else is a la carte. So I don't.
Wait, did you just say a la carte?
They are.
Yes, she did.
their choices.
I love that.
Their choices. Yeah.
I love
So
that.
I don't give everything to relationships that are there for fun or, for, I don't know. I just I don't invest as much in it. I don't know if that makes sense. But I just feel like people put too much into relationships when they're not your spouse or your children. I just feel like that's why people tend to, when the breakup occurs, they tend to go into withdrawals or depression because they poured so much into these relationships and they shouldn't have. I just don't think that's what they're made for.
Boy, did you just hit a sore spot, because I agree with that. Pouring yourself and giving so much of yourself. And honestly, in reality, you're probably putting in way more than the other person was in the first place. And it's hard. Well, it's your turn. Let me hear from you,
Well, that's only if it was
my partner.
a bad friendship, right? Like, so I guess Joy, and I just want to probably put a little bit of color to the perspective.
Okay.
You've been with your husband how long?
29, 30 years.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So I've been with mine almost 8 years. But I
Okay.
have friends that have been around for 25 years, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
little different like with those relationships because with them I was with them when they got married and then when they got divorced and it's like those relationships weren't necessarily just one-sided. I would pour into
Yeah.
them, they'd pour into me. Somebody breaks my
Yeah.
heart, I got that friend. I think with my friends, I feel like it's a constant. It's kind of like that group chat message where you don't have to say good morning because it's a constant conversation. We can pick up
Hmm.
and be like, "Oh, girl, we just saw such and such." You don't have to say
Yes.
no hello. You don't have to just, keep
Right.
keep the conversation going. So,
Yeah.
what I wanted to add to that though is, I guess your husband, he's your best friend. Like that's a 20 plus year relationship. But for me, I have friends that I had before my husband, and
Yeah.
heaven forbid if if anything happens or whatever, we are that tight where they will be there, even if he's
Sure.
not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
he
have
loves
those
them
as
too.
well.
That's actually a good
Yes.
point.
I have those
You're
as
right,
well.
Dice.
Hmm.
Got
Yeah.
me
Well,
married at the
I
bottom
have
kind of
ride or
friends. Yeah.
dies. I absolutely have girlfriends that I've known for 35,
Oh
30
yeah.
years that has gone along with my marriage, and they've been married and divorced, and
Mm-hmm.
we move around. But if I needed to let go of one of them,
Mm.
if they are moving in a direction or I'm moving in a direction that compromises our relationship, I am going to be very sad about it. Not going to be devastated, and I'm not going to fall into depression over
Mm.
it. Is what I'm saying.
I get that.
I I, I don't know,
Because you
but
know
we
what?
we're close. We
You,
talk and we share.
you made a good point about like how much you pour into them or how much they pour into you. So here's the deal. I'm thinking as far as someone being devastated, right? I just wrote down
Yeah.
some notes. Let's say, you're friends for however long. For me, I'm in tight with the family. I done gone to siblings' weddings and
Yes.
children's graduations. Like
Right.
they would call me even if the friend isn't around. Like that is that tight, right? And
Yeah.
I'm thinking if my friends stop talking to me, of course it'll be like, oh gosh, now I can't do the family annual event because we're
Right.
not friends. Like, so that would be devastating because all these things became a part of my life. And
Yeah.
then one day it's like, well, she don't like you and you don't like her. So you can't even be a part of the thing you look forward to every year doing
Right. I
My
think those
barbecue is one of them.
relationships are,
the barbecue.
I don't know if I would be growing with someone with out of the blue, we're not friends anymore. When
Right.
I say we grow
See,
apart,
that's
I
yeah.
mean that they have something that consumes more of their time than what I used to feel.
Hmm.
It doesn't mean we're mad at each other. It just means I'm willing to let my friends freely live and vice versa. And if our schedules change or the time that we put in changes, no one's mad, no one's looking at it as shade, or no one's like wondering where you at. I don't, it's just maturity. I think, like if my girlfriend, which I have, had a very close friend that moved out of state, and now she's doing her thing, and we don't talk once a week or twice a week.
Right.
Maybe once a month. When she flies in town, she's seeing her children and not me. I'm 51 years old. I'm okay with, I
Right.
can look from the window and be like, oh, look at my girl. She's taking care of her family. She's taking care of her career. I love her. When she has a moment, we're going to catch up. But it's not like
Oh,
I'm
you're not the one
mad.
that's like, oh, how come you come into town and you don't even call me? Like, yeah, I
Oh,
wouldn't
Oh
even
my
do all
no.
God.
that.
I
Yeah.
hate that. I hate that. I
Yeah.
hate that stuff. How you almost got me. You
Uh-oh.
almost got me.
Did
I
I get
caught myself.
$40?
No, I hate that because
She sounded it
I
out,
have a
though.
couple of friends who are just like, no, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. But I do have a couple of friends that we've all moved to different places. My best friend and I think the longest we've ever been apart was like 5 years when she went to work in Japan. Other than that, in California, we there, and then I moved, and when even in California, we were kind of like neighbors. And then when I moved here to the other side of the country, she moved to the other side of the country, and we've been together, but there are days, weeks, months that we don't talk, and I mean that's my bestie for life. However, I do have friends who are and former friends who are. I
Not
am
as
just now
understanding.
realizing no, and I am now at the point where I'm with realizing that how much I was giving and giving and giving. And, I would get little spurts of this or little spurts of that, and some compassion here, some compassion there, whatever the case may be. But when it was really time over the last couple of years when I was at my lowest, I'm not going to lie, they weren't there, but I was still there for them. And so, when stuff went down and it was time to sever ties, I was really hurt because I started to look at this person as, a little sister or, part of the family. They're in my house. They're, back and forth. And it became like, wow, this was really one-sided.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
after I realized that the mourning stopped,
Hmm.
I stopped mourning it.
Yeah.
Are there events that I am going to miss going to? Yeah, I'm going to miss them, but her, but that's okay because I
Hmm.
know they're going to miss my events too.
Sure.
Probably more
Well,
so than I
and then
miss
you
Yeah.
theirs,
weighed,
really.
you sound like you weighed the emotional tax of it though, too, right? Like if you sat there, of course you're going to grieve, the loss. Like, gosh, I can't believe this. But then you're like, man, and this person got on my nerves and they never did this and they didn't look out for me. And it's like you start building up to like not grieving anymore to like, yeah, you did me a favor disappearing.
Right? It is. It's actually,
Yeah.
I have found in my instance that it's all part of my growing pains.
Hmm.
I am going through growing pains right now as an adult. We have so many, I keep calling it puberty, but it's not puberty, it's menopause. Or if it's not menopause, it is your emotional well-being. If it's not your emotional well-being, then it's something else. So I try to stop putting labels on stuff
Hmm.
and really and truly take the blinders off because, I mean, my kids have accused me of it too. I have rosy glasses on. I
Hmm.
see you. I'm like, you are fine. You're beautiful. You're kind. Oh, you need $1 million? You know what? Let me see if
Yeah.
I have it. Well, I don't.
Hmm.
I don't. But I will
Hmm.
do whatever it is. Oh, you need to stay at my house for the next 3 years because you want to do this and this. Of course you can. You
Hmm.
know, because I'm thinking of you as, and that's maybe my mistake. I'm bringing you in as
Hmm.
family.
Hmm. And I think that's
And
fine
Joy,
until you want that same type of love back. And I think that's where people kind of get hurt, is relationships are not 50-50 at all. Not your marriage, not your friendship,
Thank you.
not your children, not your job, nothing. It's 50-50.
Nothing.
And I think
Nothing.
when we can't measure friendship based off of what I do, it's just not going to look the same.
Nope.
You know, it's just it's going to always put you in a deficit. It's always going to put you in a position of feeling like you're lacking or someone's not giving to you because you give so much and they're not returning it. It's just a faulty way of having relationships. It's always going to catch you out there feeling sad, you know? And I think initially going back into relationships, we really have to be mindful of what we're committing to and understanding that we're not necessarily going to get that back. That person is not you. So that person is not going to always give the way you do.
Well, you know
And
what? And
it's
you
no, go ahead.
actually led to a thought I had because now stay with me for a second. I'm usually the one, the financially better off, than my friends. I was before, right? And so I used to always wonder, like, I'm always the one, with family. I'm always the one people go, they go to when they need something. I was like, who can I go to when I need this? And I'm like, and then God spoke clearly. It was like, you won't need it. Like you're not going to be in that position. Right. And then I can also say the same thing for the person that's the emotionally intelligent one that knows how to help you and console you, right? You're probably like, I'm always consoling people. No one ever consoles me, but you're probably like, you know what? I really don't need it. I notice that they're not doing it,
Right.
but I'm not craving it
Right.
and need it. So
Absolutely.
it's an interesting
Absolutely.
thought of,
Absolutely.
yeah, you're giving a lot. And just as Joy said, it's not 50-50. Like, I don't mind. I'll treat people to something to eat and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that. But then I got the friends that can call me and talk me off the ledge or baby me up, on the phone, like, girl, it's okay. Or, whatever. It's like we all have different things that we contribute to the
Mm-hmm.
relationship. And so it's not
Mm-hmm.
balanced in each of those aspects, but collectively it is.
Right.
I have
Absolutely.
always said, and people thought I was just being sarcastic. I'm just like, there's no marriage, there's no person that can say they're in a relationship and it's 50-50, or somebody's always giving more than the other. And it's usually the feminine one.
Well, that's why you're not
You
supposed to
know,
keep
I
track of it.
That's right, you don't. And I literally, if I was to try to keep track of what I do for others, I wouldn't have time. There wouldn't be enough time in the day because the simple acts of kindness, they have racked up and racked up and racked up. Or the simple act of spreading yourself thin so you can be accommodating to others, it's racked up, racked up, racked up. But when it's your turn to get replenished,
Mm-hmm.
and it's obvious that this person isn't available to replenish you, and then you start kind of like, well, gosh, I've been there for you through a lot. I just need a little bit of this or a little bit of that. It's hurtful.
See, but that's where I think where Joy's point about putting that type of thing into her husband. Because here's the deal. I had to
Yeah.
come with this as I got in, it's something about when you turn 40 afterwards, you start thinking about life differently. So I look at it as you're depositing seeds, right? You're making these deposits all
Right.
over the place. If I'm pouring into you and then I really don't expect you to pour back into me, I feel like it's going to come from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So, but to
Right.
sit there and be like, I did all this for you and you can't do, that's where I'm probably with you on that with Joy. Like, Joy is like, hey, as far as that is concerned, it's me and him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We made this
Right.
commitment to each other. And I can say to
And
you,
well,
hey,
the
I
rest of it
need
is
you.
just a side dish. Oh,
The
no, it wasn't
rest,
side dish. What was
side
it?
dish.
The appetizer.
It's another meal, but you got a whole meal in front of you. It's just other things. What we're going to call it? Dim sum or tapas. Tapas.
Oh, right. Yes.
That's actually a very good point. That's
It's,
actually a very good
yeah.
point.
I think we burden relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly feel like even in my relationship with my husband, and he is the top tier, but even in that relationship, he is not equipped to give me everything. And that
Right.
is where my relationship with God comes into play. I have to bring it in because I promise you, I am a needy woman. I am. I'm very, very needy.
She
Really?
admits
Very
that.
needy. Very
Could
needy.
never have imagined that.
Very needy because God has given me the need to give and to pour to so many people. That's why I'm a coach. And that's why my ministry is giving. So I pour out a lot. And even though my husband is equipped to, he's a comforter, like that's just how he's wired. But even at that, there's some days where even that isn't enough, where I really just have to sit with God and he has to just comfort me. And that's the only person on the planet, that is able to give me and correct me and like make me be like, okay, pull it together, Joy. Pull it together. And I think that's where the unbalance comes in with people dealing with relationships. Like they expect so much from their employer, they expect so much from their husband, they expect so much in return from their children, and that's just not how it works. Relationships were just not created to be that way. They just don't replenish people in that way. So you have to have a bigger source than all of them in order to,
I agree.
to just kind of snap back and not be at your wits' end when someone walks out of your life. My husband walked out of my life. I'm going to be incredibly devastated and sad, but I'm going to have to pull myself together. I'm going to have to reboot, and God's going to be the one that does that for me. So at the end of the day, going into relationships, I love you, Sandy, and you are a giver. But if you don't want to give on Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to be okay.
You're so sweet. I'm going to have to put that out there. Like, listen, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I can't be given. It's called My Days. But I'll
She's
be back on
like,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
my office hours are.
Come on now. Bye,
No,
Bobby.
no. Don't. You guys don't even laugh. I just had a session with my therapist. And I'm just like, listen, I'm starting to come out of hibernation and people are expecting things from me. He's like, well, it's simple, Sandy. Go back into hibernation or just say no. And I'm like, yeah, I am starting to say no, but, people get a little upset. And
But let me tell you what I
being the
would say to
pleaser.
that. Let me tell you what I would say to that. Stop presenting yourself in the manner where there are some people that like to be the pleaser and the giver until the crowd starts coming to get what you're offering.
Preach.
So we have to really start looking at who we are, like standing in the mirror and being like, well, why is everybody expecting this? Why is everybody wanting this? Oh, because that's how I'm showing up. So you have to
I
say,
call myself Ito.
you have to
Ito,
start
everything
having,
to everyone for the longest time.
Yeah, but
I'm
you
like,
know
have
what though?
boundaries.
Joy is telling you made that choice. And Sandy, look, here's the deal.
I know.
Like I said, I've mentioned that 40 thing. I think 50 is going to be worse because let me tell you something. I am okay with telling people no. And I don't give an explanation. Nope, I can't make it. I can't do it because here's the deal. I'm not going to have you trying to prioritize my life for me. Well, what are you doing? I'm sorry. I'm just not able to make it. I got something else that's
Looking at the
just as
window.
critically important. Even if it's twiddling my toes in front of the TV, I got something else I'm supposed to do. So
Absolutely.
as Joy is telling you, and I feel like she's told you this before, you are
Yeah, she
allowing
probably
this
has.
to
She
happen.
has.
Why? I
Well,
guess
I'm
you
not
have
as
to
much
ask
anymore, you
yourself,
guys.
why do you allow it to happen? What is going to happen if you tell people no? What are you worried about that's going to happen to you if you say, no, I can't do? Because Sandy, you have to recharge. You have to recharge. You can't, you're pouring out of a cup that has nothing in it if you keep on doing that. So what are you doing to make sure your cup stays full and you pour? Be selective in the pouring. How about that?
Yo, that's right there. Right there. Be
Yeah.
selective.
Be
right
selective.
there. Clap. I'm
Yeah.
clapping. We
It
keeping
is.
that in too.
It
Clap
is because,
Yeah.
we were talking about friendships and I wrote down it's quality versus quantity. So if you got this toxic friend that's always take, and I mean not necessarily taking tangible things, taking your emotional stuff, taking your you have a good day and all of a sudden you talk to this person and your whole day feels terrible because you have inherited whatever they're telling you all the time. And if I got to keep repeating myself to my friend, I'm like, look, don't talk to me about this anymore. Because
Well, I'm just learning about the boundaries thing, and I have set up boundaries, and it's been it's been life changing. Honestly, people are just not used to hearing no from me, and that's just the bottom line. And now that I am saying no, not today, maybe not ever, I'm being looked at differently, and that's okay. I don't care, but those who can't accept, and it really is hard for me because it comes to a place of, oh, that wasn't nice. That wasn't nice, Sandy. Like, you could have done this, or you could have said okay, but like a later date or whatever. And
is
I'm
it not, hold
chastising
on, is it
myself.
not nice
But
that you said no, or is it not nice that how you said it?
I never say no mean.
Oh, then what?
I'm not saying it no.
So here's the deal,
Because
Sandy. You
I'm
know
just
what?
like you said.
I play a game in my head
Like,
sometimes
you
when
sort of
people when people ask me stuff. I'm like, what would they do if I wasn't here? Because, yeah, what would you do if I wasn't here? And that's how I'm able to say no, because they're going to
Yeah.
figure it out or go to the next person that can't say no.
It's a
Yeah.
culture thing for Black women to be afraid of being the mean girl. So what happens is,
Really?
oh yeah. So what happens is we try to be ultra soft. And that means that we become a yes person. And unfortunately, that is what gets us into the jams where then we have to be like, no, we have to be that aggressive no. Where if we did it from the beginning, then if we were different from the beginning, then we wouldn't have to be the mean girl. We won't have to say no. We could just be like, oh, well, Joy, she's not, you can't call Joy at 5 o'clock because that's dinner time with her family. She doesn't answer the phone. People already know certain things about me. They
Yes, that's
already
true.
know
That is true.
that if I'm going somewhere, most likely my husband is coming with me. Do I care? Do I care if they think well, why you don't drive? Well, why he got to come? Because that's my man. You want me there? Yes or no? Great, I'll be there. So we set up a lot of things that kind of make it very challenging for us because psychologically we think certain boundaries mean that we're mean girls, and we're not. We're just girls with
That is
standards.
such a good point. That is such an excellent point. I never even thought of it from that standpoint because I do have this thing about I want to be nice. I'm going to be nice.
Oh
I'm going to
yeah,
be nice. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be
because
nice.
we think
Well,
nice
you
is
know what?
pretty. We think nice is pretty, and boundaries is ugly, and that's just not true. Sorry. Okay, that's it.
Your mic is muted.
Me?
No, it's me. I was gonna say, Sandy, so your difficulty with saying no may also be a sign of how you feel when people tell you no.
Hmm.
Actually, I handle no really well. As a matter of fact, I don't handle no from my partner very well, right? But from people, yeah, I mean, I'm used to it. I've been a contractor for a long time, so I learned how to be the brutal no, the nice no, and maybe that's a little bit of it too, because I'm just like when people tell me no, I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, especially if it was
And
a
we're able
promise
to
and
deal
you're
with
breaking
stuff
your promise.
differently from work versus relationships. There is a separation. My people are able
It
to take
is.
a whole lot of stuff from work, but
It
when
is.
it comes to personal relationships, it's not the same.
It's
So
not.
that's a different conversation that we got to have.
It is. It is.
We
And I
opened
just
up a couple
Really,
of different ones that would
we
be good.
yeah,
did.
we
We
did.
did. And I just realized I didn't make any money as we, in this because I realized that we could probably
Woo!
do 3 or 4 episodes on this conversation
Yes.
alone.
Yeah, it really is quite telling, and I have learned so much about myself over the last year, and the ability to set boundaries and be able to say no and just actually mean it and not feel bad about it. But this whole situation with like people going away, friends or no longer friends, I am new to this. I am new to this because people are usually running to me, you know, or
Because you
if
offer a
I'm
whole
pursuing
bunch.
somebody.
I'll be running to you too. You offer a whole bunch of candy. I don't have a whole bunch of people running towards me.
Because Joy's like, my office hours are.
Okay?
Do not call
Not
me
not not
after 5:30.
no, it's not R. It's office ah.
Ah,
Sorry, did I make
that's right.
Trying to get that Boston accent.
Thank you so much, Joy, for joining us,
Good.
and we'll
Yes.
My
definitely be having
pleasure.
you in other
No, we won't have her back
episodes.
because I don't make any money when she comes.
Hey, I love being here with you. I love
I
it.
do too. I enjoy it. Joy speaks the truth here, so I love it.
Yeah, and it's so refreshing and to have
We got
you
to do a
on, and
live
so
on social media. Just
We
wanted to
should.
throw that out
I plan on doing that.
on your
That's one of the
page. That
ones
would
that
be hot.
Okay.
Oh my
It's a
gosh.
date.
We
Yes,
talked about this, Shantae, that we were gonna do it, but we have to make sure that we don't have you in the closet though.
I
She's not
promise
in the
you.
closet. She's in a store.
If
She's in a.
people can see me other than y'all,
In
we
the
will
store.
not be. Yes.
All right.
But I'm still
Well,
digging that flowery thing at the back there. I want that.
Sandy is shopping in your screen. You can know what? Stop it. Stop it. So
Right.
look,
Yeah.
we need to let's just go ahead. We're gonna wrap
Wrap
this
Let's
it.
up.
wrap it up.
I
Okay,
do know that we're gonna be
fine,
talking about
fine.
some other things eventually and some stuff that I probably am gonna be silent because my mom's gonna be listening to this stuff. And I don't know if I want to talk about some of the stuff you have listed here, but I'll try. I'll try. So all that to say,
We'll
we
be
look
talking
forward.
about it.
You're gonna be talking. I'm gonna be asking questions and listening. I'm be in listen mode.
Okay, fine. Fine.
All right. Well, I guess, and
Thanks for
then
tuning in.
yes, thank you for tuning in, and until next time. Did I
Yay.
make $40 today? All right.
No, you made zero. Until
right.
next time.
See y'all later.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.
Bye.